Okay, viewers, this is VOND, Dr. James VOND, and it's just turned past midnight, and it's now Friday, 16th of January 2026. And I'd just like to make this short video just to summarize some points about my last video that I made last night. And I think, first of all, for definite, that the sexiest women around are very attractive ones, the ones that are most erotic, arousing, below the belt area kind of thing, if you know what I mean. They usually end up in working in the sex industry, and if not on the sex industry, maybe on porn sites, soft porn, and even social media, of course, modeling, etc. The reason being that they're so successful is obviously down to their looks, isn't it? Their good looks, their attractiveness, and the ability to lure someone, arouse someone, and keep their attention. And that's the name of the game here, to keep their attention, of course. And the ratings prove that as well. If you look at the figures for some of those attractive women, models, young women, and not only in bikinis but lingerie and even dresses and all sorts of other types of clothing, depending on the occasion, of course, and the background where they're actually filming or making a photo shoot. So that's the important thing to remember. And that's why I'm making this video. There's a lot of envious behavior going on from normal women. Um, I've got to mention that in subtitles there for people who don't realize. They seem to be making the noise, the rhetoric, if you like, and saying that obviously it's envious behavior end of the day, because those are professionals in the sex industry, especially even sex workers, and they're professionals. Everyone knows that. They do that for a living, and they can make money out of it. It's their business at the end of the day. And obviously, if they couldn't attract people, they wouldn't be in the business. They'll be out of business. So that's their game, obviously. So as soon as the customers, the clients, whatever, stop coming, then obviously they're going to be out of business. That's their ability. That's their trademark, if you like, and they rely on that, obviously. And without that, um, they won't be able to succeed, would they? And especially livelihood terms, So normal people couldn't do that. Normal women, especially, they couldn't attract men like any men, yet alone handsome men. And it is obviously location. Everyone knows that. So everyday people are obviously normal people. I'm talking about normal women, obviously. There are kind of mostly celibate people out there, and chances of that happening. And if you go back to the North by Northwest film, with Cary Grant sitting across Eva Marie Saint, and that's Roger Thornall he plays, and obviously Eve Kendall, that's what she's playing, and he says the minute he meets someone attractive, he's reluctant to reveal his inner thoughts, to make love to them. So obviously that's him, and then she says, "What makes you think that?" And obviously, when he gets that kind of message from her, he responds in that way, like that most people would find that objectionable. In normal women, that is probably in normal areas. So it might be a location thing as well. And like I said, if he was in, say, Dewallen or something, Amsterdam, it might be a different story altogether. They might be even beckoning him, seducing him, luring him. Even like in The Graduate, that movie, Mrs. Robinson, are you trying to seduce me? He says, remember that when her husband's out or something? That sort of thing. I'm not just talking about hanky panky, but that does go on. And, sometimes I get the old blink or something, the nod or something, and there are obviously messages, signals they give out. And sometimes they even, beckon you and call you over. It depends on the location, of course. And obviously not around here, obviously normal areas. I'm not saying in normal areas. And those are the women that are actually complaining, objecting. The envious behavior is from those sort of people, the normal people that you live amongst. they're not really the sexy type anyway. That's the point I'm making in this video. And they're more like envious behavior, I think. They wouldn't even get a chance. I think they wouldn't be able to seduce someone, arouse someone below the belt, especially. I think, I don't think they've got the skills there either, or the experience. Those are professionals who do that. Obviously, they're doing that for a living, and they'll be out of business if they couldn't do that. If they couldn't, you know, lure men like that, or any of those customers. So obviously they rely on that. So that's their trademark, if you like I said. And normal women couldn't do that. Maybe there's an inability. Maybe obviously they might not ovulate or something, whatever it is. Whatever's causing them a problem. And sometimes they're just a lousy lay, in bed, and always some sort of problem with them. And if your woman's like that, obviously you might need to see a sex expert or something, an expert in that field as well. So it is envious behaviour end of the day, but it's exhibited by normal women. Normal women that really don't really excite people and don't arouse people below the belt. Have you ever been really aroused by the ones that are making the noise, the rhetoric? And that's what I'm getting across. And people should realise that, because those professionals, they do that for a living, and obviously they won't be in business if they couldn't do that, if they weren't able to seduce people and arouse them enough. And they're obviously erotic, obviously, at the end of the day, arousing, and that's their, um, that's their speciality, obviously, and they know how to do that to make money and earn a livelihood as well at the same time, and pay their rents or whatever, if they're in the shops or something. But on the road, some of them as well over here. But in those countries where it is legal, obviously. And one other thing, why are those stupid idiots always getting arrested in California, state of California, doing those sex acts, when they know clearly California doesn't allow sex with sex workers? It's obviously a publicity stunt, just like Hugh Grant was caught in the 1980s, I think it was, with Divine Brown. I mean, that's all a staged publicity stunt. I think it's happened again. Some other actor or somebody is in the news, and they always get caught in California. But actually, it's Nevada state that allows it. That's the state that's where it's legal. Obviously, it is obviously regulated there, just like Amsterdam, not like New Zealand. In New Zealand, by the way, it's not regulated, but it is allowed. It's completely legal, and it's totally down to the individuals what they decide, to do, if they want to exchange money or other gifts or something. That's entirely down to them. And as long as it's not, they're not threatening or hurting each other, that's about it. But there are risks, of course, STDs, sexual transmitted diseases, and anything else that that could happen when you obviously get involved in the act, in the sexual act with the sex worker, of course. And that's the risk, obviously, to the client. But that's in New Zealand, but they are not regulated, like I said. So that's the exemption there. The other places, Australia, Amsterdam, etc., Nevada state, they are kind of regulated there. That's about it, really. But do remember, they're professionals who do that, and they've got to be sexy, obviously, to be able to get some customers for starters. They're not just anyone. That's what makes them different from the normal, isn't it? The normal flock of people, the women out there, average people who might not excite people below the belt area, that, that's that's quite clear. So that needs to be remembered. And any stick that they get, any envious behaviour, is usually from them normal ones. Obviously, they're failures at the end of the day anyway. Those ones that even excite people, yet alone anything else. And like I said, they might not even ovulate or have other problems, and know how to sex their man. So they shouldn't be making the noise anyway. That's for sure, because they need the knowledge as well. Obviously, how to do that, but they're not trained. Obviously, they're not experts. They're not experts. They're just critics, scornful critics at the end of the day, doing the job that someone else is doing, a professional, and they're not, obviously. So they're taking the stick out on them. That's really wrong, isn't it? Then, If they can't do that, that's their job. At the end of the day, really speaking, they should be doing that. If it's your partner that you're living with, or if you have a partner or somebody you're cohabiting with, that person should be really doing that to you. But if they can't do that, then obviously there's a fault there, isn't there? So what can they do? I mean, marital aid gifts and things. You can go there, get the help there, but even that doesn't sometimes work, does it? And when those people like that, they come in, and they do that. Obviously, they do help a lot of people out there, and not just single bachelors. I mean, even married people out there who've got relationship problems. And I mentioned Hugh Grant as well. He's one of them. Obviously, he's publicly exposed, and his career shot up like that. Four funerals and a wedding. Guy, was it 4 weddings and a funeral? I can never remember. It's one of those anyway. He shot up in fame, and obviously it probably was a publicity stunt. Obviously, everyone knows it's you don't do that in Los Angeles or in California, the state of California. It's Nevada state where you can do those sort of things, and in places like Las Vegas, for instance, and that's where they do quickie divorces as well. Incidentally, that's about it for early hours of 26th of January 2026, 26, 1/26, and it's a Friday. Dr. James Wondrich, otherwise Dr. James Bond.